Ah, yes, what tangled webs we weave, and first we practice to believe. Chapter 32. The people were still not convinced. They started losing faith with Moses gone up in the mountain, fucking with the Lord. They cried out, Moses is gone. Aaron must make a new religion. Give us another God, one we can see. That was a quote. Verse 2. Take off the gold rings that are on the ears of your wives, your sons, and your daughters. Verse 4. This he took from them and cast into a mold and made it into a molten calf. A baby cow. Here's your new fucking God. Worship it. So they did, and the Lord got wind of it, as they say. I will kill them all, said the Lord. Verse 12. Let not the Egyptians say it was with evil intent that he delivered them, only to kill them off. Moses argued that after dragging the fucking army out of Egypt, it would be a waste and unnecessary to kill them all. What about your promise to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? Come on, God. Oh shit, I forgot. Verse 14. And the Lord renounced the punishment he had planned to bring upon his people. God's always changing his mind. So Moses went on down, saw the calf, and had a fit. Smashed his pretty little random law for idiots tablet and burnt the baby cow, the gold one. Ground it into a powder, mixed it in the drinking water, and forced his people to drink it. But even if the thing was 10 stories high, which it wasn't on account gold isn't, the few million thirsting desert dwellers wouldn't hardly notice. Moses chewed out Aaron for letting his people get out of control. I'm gone 40 days and you make the new God? How are we going to get these morons to follow the one true one if they get a new one every time I go to the mountain? Well, fuck, they wanted something to worship and you weren't here. Then Moses jumped up and demanded to know who was still with him and his Lord. The Levites came running. We are with the Lord with the biggest sword. In the name of the Lord, go kill brother, neighbor, and kin. So they did. After they had put 3,000 family members to the sword, the rest were ready to worship Moses again. Imagine that. The next quote is very true and worth serious deliberation. Verse 31. Alas, this people is guilty of a great sin in making for themselves a god of gold. End quote. In fact, it may be the same word. Gold, God, at least in English. The Lord sent a plague to punish the Hebrews, who, by the way, were not all from one family, one religion. Verse 33. Then the Lord sent a plague upon the people for what they did with the calf that Aaron made. Now, thousands of years later, we would speculate that living in a pile of shit festering with maggots in the hot sun could add to the possibility of a plague. Boy, this one's loaded. Loaded. There's a lot of information actually in the Torah. It's well worth reading. But it's going to be a shocker because it is definitely going to bust up your ideas of what holy means. Because what holy means is the same as evil. Evil and holy are synonymous. And most people wouldn't think that. They would think, well, one thing is holy, the other thing is evil. But go to the Vatican, you will see that it is wholly evil. As in completely evil. Now, some people would think I'm exaggerating, but I'm not. The Vatican is a house for the devil. The devil is the Pope. Of course, the devil isn't real. This is an idea from a story, but it explains what it is they are doing. They're dictating to the ignorant masses how they should live. In fact, I think the Pope still tells people, don't wear condoms, it is better to spread AIDS, make more Catholics, overpopulate the world, live in poverty and desperation. They're evil. As simple as that. Evil. The fucking pricks are evil. And if you read this book, you will see it is plainly written that religious leaders are evil. Of course, there are nice ones. There's some nice poor peasant priests that think they're teaching you something nice. I mean, there's nice things in the book. But one thing we should learn is that dictators are bad news. And religious dictators are the same shit. Okay? And this plague, they might be talking about just the 3,000 people being slaughtered. Although we do get some more plagues. I mean, people be dying all the time. Thinking about it. Think about it. They've got very few vegetables in the garden of the desert. So they're drinking a little bit of goat's milk, perhaps. They get some water, but probably not enough. Camel milk. They might have some camels. Sheep milk. And the odd bit of meat, but they're not allowed to eat the meat because most of the meat is for the priests. I'm not sure how many priests there are. We might get to that later. We better stop talking about this chapter. It's going to go way too long. I just want to mention, what was the other thing I mentioned? The one I definitely had to mention something that was really important. Everything's punishable by death. We said that often enough. They want to worship something. No, that wasn't it either. Oh yeah. The idea is the people, after a few days, I mean, if you're trying to figure out how to get 6 million people to do what you tell them, it's not easy. So the idea was kill 3,000 people to get the terror back into the other people, so then they know that if they fuck up again, they're going to get cut down by the Levites. The Levites are the more equal than the ones that are more equal. The Jews are the chosen race, but the Levites are the chosen of the chosen, and the priests are the chosen of the chosen of the chosen, and Moses is God. So it's like a military.